So basically, as you can see, we're looking at Joe Biden's official president Twitter account basically here, and it just basically shows him so it says 50. Let me change the screen here up a little bit. So it basically says 51 days down, and it shows him walking down this trail in slow motion. It's like a GIF or whatever of him doing that. So this is just one of the many posts, Twitter tweets, or whatever, that Biden's account and Kamala Harris's account has been putting out, and it truly shows how pathetic and how terrible, and honestly beyond parody, their social media game is. It's unbelievable how bad they are, and it's really I don't even know what they're like. It's like they're really sad attempt at trying to seem woke and cool. And so they put out these weird GIFs and pictures. And then we're gonna get some more here, but weird GIFs and pictures of them doing something that they think looks cool. It's totally strange. And so one of them is Kamala Harris reading a piece of paper, and then Joe Biden signing a piece of legislation, or laughing with Kamala Harris, standing there laughing with her and looking really happy, and then putting out these weird 51 days down, and then everybody in the fucking comments section is a lot of lefties I see in the comment section mocking him because it looks ridiculous. So this is one of them that looks totally absurd. And then here's another one from Biden that says another week in the books. And then so that's another thing they do. And another one will be we're moving the country forward, one day at a time. What's the next one? This was I'll show you the video for this, but this is a bunch of people that they asked how the $1,400 checks will benefit them, I guess. But yeah, so this is another one that they did. Some sort of lame proclamation about how great the administration is doing, and and it's this doesn't I don't know, and it's sad too because you see a lot of people responding to these and being what the fuck are you talking about? Obviously, a lot of lefties are yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? This is crazy. No, you're not doing anything. And then what do you have with the people that are like I said before, the Democratic loyalists? Oh, they're fawning, they're swooning. They're swooning over Biden and Kamala, oh my God, thank you so much for what you're doing. Thank you so much for leading our country in the right way, and you're doing so much better than the last administration. We're so proud to have you. It's oh my Lord, you literally want to vomit from all of this ridiculous fawning and swooning over two people, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who aren't really doing anything of really great significance. All they're doing is just bringing us back to what it was under Barack Obama, and sometimes in many cases even worse than that. Joe Biden couldn't even get the Iran nuclear deal. He couldn't even get us back into the Iran nuclear deal after fucking Donald Trump fucked everything up there. Joe Biden, knowing that Trump did everything he did, and then Iran obviously responding in kind by getting more nukes because they were afraid that Donald Trump would start another war with him. I mean, he fucking killed the biggest General Soleimani in Iran for no reason at all, pretty much. And Joe Biden is wondering, oh my God, why don't they want to get back into another deal with us? Well, you better come up with a fucking deal that people are going to love instead of some bullshit that you had before. So yeah, Joe Biden hasn't done nearly close to anything that he should be doing, as much as he wants to pretend he is. So let me play this clip. It's people responding to how apparently the stimulus payment is going to help people, or has helped them, these people. So check this out.
When I was sick, our bills fell behind. So the stimulus would be very helpful right now to help me pay forward some of those bills.
With this upcoming stimulus check, I would like to use part of it to pay some bills and get out of some debt.
I would be able to buy food for my girls, the healthy fruits and vegetables that they need. In addition to that, it can keep us warm on cold nights by paying for our electricity bill.
With my stimulus check, I plan on finally repairing the flat tire in my car that I haven't driven for months.
I would use that money to help pay for medical school applications, my utility bills, as well as rent and groceries. And as a graduate student, that money would help me so much because that's a month of living that I don't have to worry about.
Okay. Okay. So listen, am I saying that the people, the American people, shouldn't get that money? Of course not. Of course we should get that money. We deserve to get something. The fact that we got anything is okay, I guess, but it's still not close to enough. And that's the whole point. The fact that we can't even get a decent amount that will, so continuously help people is bad enough. So these people are talking about, like, this guy's talking about, like, so I can drive my fucking car that has had a flat tire. That means he can't drive. He wants to spend, I don't know how much of his stimulus, how much of that stimulus, $1,400, how much of that he's going to spend on fixing his car that has a flat tire. Let's say if it spends all that money. Okay, so he uses all that money. How much does it cost to fix a flat tire? Let's just say hypothetically it costs him a bunch of money because there's, like, other problems wrong with the car, or, like, maybe he can't, like, he like, let's say his car is like that flat tire is not, like, the only problem he has. What if it costs him more than half that the stimulus check? That's $700. More than that, let alone, let's say, if it costs $1,400. You never know. But the point is that that's not enough. That's not enough for people that can truly get by, and for people to be talking about how much this is helping them. Yeah, it's going to help you, but this is a one-time payment. You're not getting another one at this point. Joe Biden has no plans to give you another payment. So stop acting like, oh my God, this $1,400 payment is so amazing and it's so great and it's going to do so much. Yeah, it's going to do so much for a month, not even a month. I mean, what do you think? You think that's going to pay one of your fucking rent payments? No. You know how much rent costs? The average rent payment in this country, I would say, probably costs around $1,000 at least. Now it depends, obviously, where you live. If you live in fucking Wyoming or Idaho, it's going to be much cheaper than it is in New York and LA. Definitely, no doubt about it. Even in California, where I live, many parts of California, I'm sure the rent is much cheaper than where I live right now, where I live in LA. It's going to be much cheaper in other parts of California for sure. But the average cost is not going to be very low. So acting like, oh my God, $1,400, it's going to help me for my, for paying for my rent, or it's going to help me for whatever, fixing my car and paying off my student loan debt. What? Do you know how much student loan debt we have in this country? Like, it's ridiculous, bro. Come on, helping me get through law school. Another one of them said, no, that's ridiculous. These are people, listen, I don't know if these are probably real people. I don't have any evidence to show that they're not real people. I'm not going to push some sort of conspiracy theory like that. But are these people that they specifically, like, pick out that maybe they don't have real world problems? Like, they don't have the real world problems that we're dealing with, as far as, like, people that are in poverty, people that are homeless, people that are, like, working 3 jobs and, have to put money on the dinner table for their kids and their family. They're not talking to those people. Fuck no. They're talking to people that are like, they're getting by, but they're like, that payment will help them to some extent. That's the feeling that I get. Because if you truly spoke to people that are going through those, serious, problems that we're going through in this country, as far as when it comes to poverty and homelessness and everything, those are the people that are not going to get. I mean, okay, so the $1,400 will, I don't know, it'll get you what it's going to get you. Okay, maybe it'll get you like maybe a month's worth of food. No, maybe more than that. Maybe like, it depends. Like, that's the thing though. Like, how is it going to help you in the long run? It helps you in the very, very short term. So, yeah, okay, great. So it's like, I mean, and that's the thing. People that are homeless aren't necessarily even going to get that kind of stuff. Like, you don't even know, because this is something you have to qualify for. So it's not just like, hey, it's not like Joe Biden is like going up to people, here's a check for you, here's a check for you, here's a check for you. No, that's not the way it works. This is the problem with Joe Biden's policies. This is the problem with neoliberal policies. They're all half measures. They're all partially helping people. They're all doing things that, it's very limited. It's very limited benefits. And it doesn't, and it's a lot of it, like I said before in another segment, a lot of this stuff is means tested. And it's not going to be things that it's truly going to help people in the long run. It's going to be a very, very short-term fix. So people that are, wanting to, like I said, wanting to pay their, medical bills and wanting to pay their rent, yeah, good luck. How the hell are you going to pay your rent right now? Assuming we, I don't know which real estate developers and stuff and landlords are putting a rent freeze. I don't think it's that many, but let's just say that there is no rent freeze and people are still being forced to pay their rent. I know I am. So you're forced to pay your rent. You know, no, I don't have that issue. I don't have the issue as far as when it comes to, not being able to pay my rent. I can pay it. But when it comes to the people that are barely getting by and not able to pay it, and let's just say their rent does cost $1,400, okay, great, that's 1 month's rent. How are you going to survive the next month? What does Biden and his fucking merry band of idiots expect people to do? Just be happy with one payment of rent, one month of rent? How about food? How about clothes? How about anything? Gas for your car so you can drive to work. What are you supposed to do? Walk to work? Take a bike to work? What if you have to drive an hour to get to work? See, this is the things that either Joe Biden and his idiots, his merry band of idiots, don't think about, or they just don't care. They're just like, whatever, just take it and stop asking anything, stop asking for anything else. This is what you're gonna get, and you're just gonna have to be happy about it. So that's honestly what it feels like, and it's so like this is an attempt by Biden and his and company to this whole. So I went off a tangent there, but this is their attempt to show how cool and hip they are, because they know the optics. Like I said before, the optics and the presentation has much more effect on the simple minds of Democratic loyalist supporters, as well as the media, who just respond with an attaboy and yes queen and fawning over what Kamala Harris, which I'll show you in a second, does, and you are doing an amazing job for the American people, all that bullshit. So let me show you the rest of them here. The rest of them I think are all from Kamala Harris. What is this one? Oh, this is So this is Joe Biden showing the warmongers, the female warmongers that he's putting into the armed forces. This is what five. So he's like, oh, so typical identity politics bullshit here. Like, oh well, I have a female vice president, and then I have a female. A female armed service? I don't know which, army, navy, whatever. And then I got another one that's I think she's gay. I think she's lesbian, I believe. And so representing the LGBT community. So it's like, yeah, like this is just Joe Biden going out there and people respond. What is it here? It says, "Thank you for demonstrating to my children that murderers come in all sizes, colors, and genders." So it's like basically I think this is a term that Richard Medhurst used. He's another new media host, great new media host. He said the Rainbow Death Coalition or something. So basically putting female members in the armed forces and leading the just like the who was it, Lloyd Austin, that he put, he's a black guy that he put as the Secretary of Defense. So it's like, look, black guy. Well, this guy was apparently on the board of Raytheon. So he was on the board of Raytheon working for a fucking defense contractor, and then Joe Biden puts him as the Secretary of Defense. Wow, shocker. So this is Joe Biden's Rainbow Death Coalition over here, representing LGBT, representing women, and then the white man. Apparently they don't see that to be the problem. They don't see a problem with the white man being in there, but everybody else was a woman and a woman of color and a lesbian, and then everything's wonderful because of that. So, and then moving on to, I think, Kamala Harris, a couple Kamala Harris ones here. We got 3 of them. One of them is, look, putting in the work, ready to take on the week ahead. So this was from February 20th. So Kamala Harris reading papers. So apparently Kamala Harris reading is something that needs to be documented. And she's wearing high heels, and she's looking very female and very woke and very attractive. Wonderful. Okay, so let's see the next one here. Oh, it's a reflection of Kamala Harris. Look at that, reflecting on our first 51 days. Wow. I'm sure that's not a coincidence when Joe Biden says we're, 51 days down. So apparently she puts it on the same exact day. Well, I think it was the next day, because that says 13th. So that was actually the next day. Apparently they don't have their days down, but okay. 51 days for Kamala Harris, apparently on the 13th, and then 51 days in for President Biden on the day before that, apparently. Okay, so anyway, so reflecting on our first 51 days. And this one is funny from Bernie Tvest, at Bernie Tvest on Twitter. She says 0 delegates. I love that. So so that's another one. And then the final one here was probably the most ridiculous one, was her ready to head into a new week and deliver for the American people. Yeah, what are you delivering? What the fuck are you delivering? You're not delivering anything. You're not even doing, you're the VP. What are you doing? I don't understand this is what I'm saying though. They think this looks cool. They think this is like, yeah, look, walking in her high heels, and she's a woman of color, and she's looking really strong and looking really poised. And wow, yeah, everybody loves it. Yeah, I'm sure all the entire K Hive and Kamala Harris people are fucking swooning over her because of this, because she's walking. Wow. Reading a piece of paper, walking, and sitting at a desk. Yeah, really, really nice, Kamala. Yeah, what are you doing on policy? Are you doing anything on policy? Oh yeah, you refused to overrule the Senate parliamentarian, like we talked about earlier, when it came to their advice, not their rule, but their advice on not putting $15 minimum wage in the American Rescue Plan. You decided not to overrule the Senate parliamentarian, a position that nobody had heard of before that. You decided to not overrule that, not to refuse that recommendation and do something that would help the American people. So what did you do? You just decided to ignore that advice that, or at least the demands that we were making as the constituents, and decided to just do whatever your boss is telling you to do, basically. I mean, how much more useless can you get? It's ridiculous, man. So, I don't know. I get so annoyed by this shit. It's so ridiculous the way they portray themselves as being like super woke and super like cool and everything. Like everybody's supposed to like fawn over you because you supposedly put out these cool pictures and look really whatever, and like we're supposed to like love it and shit. Like, no, we don't love any of this. This looks absurd, and anybody that falls for this stuff is just already a fan of Kamala Harris, is already a fan of Joe Biden, loves the Democratic Party, loves everything that they do, the crumbs that they fucking give us, and they just put up with it and they're okay with it. And sadly, I hate to keep going back to the primary again and again, but this is the same exact thing that this is the same exact thing that they were doing in the primary. And a lot of it was just kind of identity politics and like, oh, we're not going to do anything on policy. We're not going to make you any promises in that area. We're just going to do the things that's going to just, make us look good, of course. Like I said before, the optics, the presentation, the, making us look more civil and, following decorum, unlike President Trump. So that's what they think is the standard bearer for the presidency, not policies that the people want. Just the crumbs that we give you, and then the nice, cool pictures on social media. That's basically all it is.